my beautiful darlings. It is Nikki Allen here. How are you, my little munchkins? I do hope that I find you well. Whatever you're going through, the angels are helping you, as well as me. I hope I'm helping you as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the channel. Welcome to new subscribers as well, and new members of the VIP tribe. All of those wonderful, wonderful perks you get are all described in the perk list and also the newsletter I send out. So I just thought I'd tell you that. The reason why, so I don't think I'm very good at marketing. This is my new Enigma collection. Look at this. This one is Ariel. As above, so below. It's even got a matching coaster. Do you know where I'm showing you these? Because someone wrote online yesterday, I wish you wrote books, Nikki. Let's just move on from that. Darlings, today we're going to do a challenge session with my darling Julianus. I know that he's been gagging to talk to you. So let's have a little chat with him. I have already... Did those lights just change frequency? Do you know what? They've put me on this path and said, get over yourself, right? And every single time I recall now, something weird happens, doesn't it? We had the lights moving on their own last time. I'm sure that's just started doing that, hasn't it? Is that going to put you off? What? Thank you. Was it Julianus? I think he's excited. Yeah, shall we... I don't even know where the remote is for it, because I just switch them on from the mains. What are these? Don't you bloody love it? Seriously, my life is transforming. I can't even tell you the stuff that happens now. I don't know which one it is. Is it that? So sorry about this. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so I've already linked up with Julianus before speaking with you, so I'm ready to rock and roll. So let's have a bit of silence as I go in, and I'll see you on the other side. My story. Ah, okay. Okay, he wants me to talk about what has just happened in the last few weeks, because he wants to give you, I kind of get what he wants to give you, he wants me to share my story, to give you examples of ego versus synchronicity and soul path, if you like, what's right for you, what isn't. So once upon a time there was a pink fairy called Nikki. Right, so a few weeks ago, all of it, okay. A few weeks ago, I felt exceptionally lonely, and grieving Darren has been horrific, especially when I'm away from my family and friends. The house, just, there's been nobody coming through the door, and it's like, I just give up, I give up. And I started to feel like I needed to fill the space. You know, and I felt that I was doing something practical. Your ego tells you that, yes, give something to motivate you, to get you up for, to get you, you know, distracted during this horrific time of grief. So I'm like, yeah, okay. So I kept looking at all of the rescue places, okay. Many Tears, Dogs Trust, all of them. I looked at every single one, watching them every single day. Absolutely convinced myself, right, come on then, I'm gonna get a dog or dogs, because You know, I need something to fill the gap. So what happened then is that I kept thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it, thinking, don't do it, Nick. You've got a new life, you've got a new start, everything's changing, don't do it. But the lion, the ego said, no, I want my dogs, I want them. So I wasn't really looking at it, thinking about it to begin with, very deeply. So what happened is that my neighbour, randomly, I didn't even know she had my number, sent me a text saying, oh, just to let you know, you should look on Dogs Trust, there's some little dogs there. So I looked on there, but they're all a bit too old and I can't just have them for a couple of years and say goodbye to them. I couldn't do that. So I said, oh, thank you so much. That's really nice of you. Then I had a day of every dog that came up online, one after the other, because obviously, you know, they look at your algorithm. So they kept showing me dog rescues and all the rest of it. Every single dog was called Teddy. There was about 6 in a row, and I'm like, that's my sign, that's my sign. And then I'd just come back from, I think it was a counselling session, hypnotherapy, whatever it was, and I was just getting out of the car, and my neighbour from across the road, different neighbour, said, Nick, we can't believe you haven't got a dog yet. You know, that you are an animal person. Why don't you get a dog? It's going to really help your loneliness while you're just waiting for things to move. And I said, we're talking about move. I can't see anything I like. I don't know where I'm going. I just haven't got a clue. I just give up. And I got really tearful. And he said, Nick, why don't you look? He goes, just go in there now and see if there's anything, you know, on the site. So then I had Susan Prowess put on a post on this channel, Teddy. And I thought, what's all that about? I don't know. I just saw a small dog and I thought, oh my God, this is a sign. It's a sign. It's a sign. So there was a little part of me that's like, Nick, you're not well enough. You're knackered. You're in pain. You're tired. You're in an ME flare, which will obviously last for a very long time until you start, you know, getting over your grief. So I'm like, no. Susan's written that. I've seen Teddy on the line. My neighbour's been telling me about it. La, 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 la. So I went straight onto Dogs Trust and Teddy and Honey came up and I'm like, that's it. They're my babies. I'm having them. So I put the application in and a couple of days later they said, yep, you're all good to go. So Lorraine came up with me. We went up there to see them and they were delightful. So I said, yeah, I'll have them. So all they told me was that they think the owner had died and they were a bit yappy and Teddy needed reminding on house train. I thought, well, that's easy enough. You know, it's not hard. It's not rocket science. So brought them back. And I was in such joy because I had something to care for, to love. And this is the reason I think he wants me to share this is because you may be in similar situations and it's a perfect example of ego versus intuition. So he's standing there with his arms folded. Like I'm telling the full transparency here. I'm being completely transparent. I always am with you. I keep it real. You know that. So anyway, the first night there was just poo and wee everywhere, and it was both dogs that were untrained. And I thought, oh, you know, they're settling in. Give them a few days. They're obviously like, what the hell, you know. And it became quite apparent that they'd come from someone that had used them as just live teddy bears. And allowed them to poo and wee in the home because I put a puppy training pad down and, you know, they went on that, but everywhere else as well. Very long story short, they were uncontrollable. They weren't trained at all in any way, shape or form. They were literally just like puppies, but one was a year and one was 3 years old. So they'd learnt really bad behaviour and it was getting exhausting and I was getting tearful nearly every day because it was just literally hardcore. But I'm the sort of person that once my bone is there, I hold on to it for dear life. I will not give in. And there is no way I was going to send them back there. I kept phoning the behavioural support line and said I'm very disappointed and very upset that they didn't reveal to me how bad both dogs were and that this really needed a family or a couple to help train them because I wasn't enough for them on top of my condition and dragging myself out to walk them. They didn't walk on leads. They reacted to dogs. They were absolutely scared of everything. I don't think they'd even been taken out. It was just hell, basically. So one day I decided, right, I'm going to have to take them back. Be strong, get your big girl pants on. You know, and even Darren's, there was the van in front of us with Darren written on it all the way back. And I'm like, what, this is meant to be. So I stuck with it. This is meant to be because I had all the signs. I don't understand this. I don't get it. And And so I phoned them up and said, listen, this isn't going to work. Anyway, they never bothered phoning me back. Said, oh, you're going to have to keep them till we find a place, which I thought was really, really underhand, because they work on your guilt, and work on your empathy. And so after a couple of days, I thought, oh no, look, Nick, get a dog trainer and it'll be fine. So then I phoned them up and cancel it, even though nobody's bothered to phone me in the last, in a couple of days that I said I need to bring them back. I should have just driven up and dropped them off. But anyway, so I then just got more and more exhausted, more and more guilty. I felt that I'd failed them and failed myself, and it was just really, really hard work. And then after a few more, I think it was another week, I just thought, I can't do this. It's killing me. They deserve people that can give them one-to-one time. They were resource guarding, fighting. It was just horrific. I was so upset. I was heartbroken. And I was very upset with Dogs Trust because they didn't do a full assessment, and these two dogs were not my match and I wasn't theirs. It's that simple. They need high energy people to train them. So the day came, they kept saying, oh, if you just wait a few days. I was like, no, I'm coming up. I'm coming tomorrow. End of. You're not putting me through any more suffering or them. I said, I'm absolutely heartbroken and devastated. I've got to bring them back. You knew I was grieving. You knew I was vulnerable, and you still let me have them. And I'm really disgusted with you. So I drove them back, crying my eyes out, all the way to Cardiff, which is like a good 2.5 hour drive. And I walked in and I thought, hold it together, Nick, hold it together. Then we got in this room and she said, oh, we did assess them. I went, no, you didn't actually. And then I just started crying. I just was so upset. I was looking at them and they were so excited, wondering what was going on. And I thought, my God, they're going back to this place. Honey was voiceless when she came here because obviously the barking and the stress of being there. I was distraught. Even so much I didn't even think of getting their collars. I just literally said to them, I don't want to spend any more time with you. I've done a full document to tell you everything that's wrong with these dogs. It is disgusting how you treated me and the dogs, and it's really not fair. And I just walked out. I got in the car and I was just crying my eyes out, and as I was driving along it turned into anger, and I literally was screaming at the top of my lungs saying, how dare you? Why did you give me the signs? Why did you give me the signs to say, yeah, get your dogs, and I've been through this hell, I've spent a fortune, and now I've got to experience another loss without them, because they were the most cuddly, loving, adoring dogs when they were settled. But that's all they knew. Anything else, they're like, what's going on? We don't know about this. And I was so angry and I was crying my eyes out. And I said, Julianus, where are you? Where are you all? I said, yeah, it's another kick in the teeth. And I just lost the plot for ages, just crying most of the way home like a lunatic. If anybody's looking at me like, oh my God, she needs to lock it up. So anyway, I got back home and I was exhausted emotionally, physically. I just had had enough, and I fell asleep and I didn't wake up till midnight. Then I was awake the whole night, just really, really upset, really angry, and really like, well, what's it? This is all crap then, all these signs of synchronicity. I've had enough of it. So then I heard a voice saying, just stop and speak to me. So I'm like, no, I don't want to speak to anybody. I mostly made that up in my head. I've had enough. You've just dragged me through everything and trust the process. And now again, it's another disappointment and I'm back on my own. I said, I'm just not happy. I said, the house isn't even selling. I said, you better find me a nice house I can be excited about, because I'm sick of it. I'm sitting here rotting away. I want to be with my family and friends. My tribe's helped me doing it, and I'm just sitting here because the house isn't selling. So unless you find me something exciting, I'm going to stay here. And he went, just stop and speak with me. So, right, what do you want? What do you want? And so I said, can you not see the bigger picture? What did I tell you the other day? And if you remember in one of my old videos, I said about the fact that I was looking at the break in the waves on the beach a little while ago. And he said, why are you continuing to focus on the breaks and the turbulence of the waves? Look to the horizon. You'll see a bigger, calmer picture, right? So I'm like, right, well, how are you going to get out of this one then? I was really shitty. And he said, can you not see what process you've gone through, Nicola? So I said, no, not really. Just another kick in the teeth, to be honest with you. Just another letdown, and it's just making me sick. And he said, you wanted those 2 dogs because you wanted to recreate your past. He said you wanted to create familiarity. And he said, tell me now, when you had the dogs, did you change your mind about moving? And I had. I'm not taken off the market, but I don't want any viewings at the moment because I've got 2 crazy dogs. I need to train them. But that was my excuse. And I knew that deep down, but I wouldn't listen to myself. And he said, the past has served its purpose. Why are you continually holding on to it? And I said, because it's all I know. I said, I'm not moving. I haven't found a nice house I like. I'm just sitting here rotting away. And I said, it's just not fair. And he said, it's totally fair. Why do you think we allowed you to take the dogs back? And then there was this feeling of, it was like adrenaline mixed with realisation. And I thought, he's totally right. I was trying to recreate Mia and Teddy. I was trying to create well, if I've got the dogs, I'm okay, then I'll just stay here. Because my fear of moving, my fear of making another step on top of all the other steps I've made. I've moved so many times because I was forced to. And I just thought, I can't do this. I can't do it again. I'm too exhausted. I just want to be in my old life. I don't know how I was going to recreate Darren because he's irreplaceable. And I don't know how I was going to create him, but the dogs was enough. And I realised in that moment that the ego part of me had decided to create the past and hold on to it. And he said, now do you see? And I was like, wow, yeah, I do. And he said, you have to move on, Nikki, or Nicola. I hate that name. You have to move on, Nicola. We have created change for you in a big, big way, and you have to go with the flow of it. And it doesn't serve your purpose to be here any longer. He then showed me like all the grief and the toxicity and the pain and everything else. And he said, you need courage now. And I thought, do you know what? He's right. He's right. So as soon as the office hours open, I straight on the phone, get the viewings in. Wide awake. And he said, yes, it was all divinely guided because we needed to get it out of your system. We were watching you look at all of these various dogs that you wanted a distraction for. You wanted to hold on to the past and be distracted. And we watched you do that. And we thought, we're going to have to let it happen for her to realise that this is not what's going to serve her future at the moment. And so that's why they let it happen. They showed me what I didn't want. And it felt so freeing. I thought, oh my God, you're absolutely right. I've got so much to do. I'm not going to be able to look after dogs anyway, even if they were well behaved. It's too much for time. I've got too much going on. I'm going over to America. I'm doing all these different things. And I'm like, what are you thinking? And then I thought, you were thinking, you were trying to create the past. You were trying to create Teddy and Mia. You were trying to create a familiar island that you were just going to remain on and let the sea swirl around you and not let anybody near you, just you and your babies. And I thought, oh my goodness. And then I thought, right, well, if I'm going to do this move, I'm going to look on Rightmove. And when I looked on there, I thought, I've never put like bungalow or flats in there. And this house came up and it was put up on the 19th of February, my mum's birthday. And I'd never seen it before. It never came up in the searches, and it should have. It should have come up, and it never did. It suddenly just came up that morning. And it is absolute perfection. Every single thing about it is what I have ordered in my manifestation, including at the back of the garden is the beach. It is just absolutely beautiful. And everything that I want to or need, the workspace, the office in it is absolutely perfection for me. And I just thought, oh my goodness. And so I got my friend to go and view it. And she walked me around it. And so I said, right, okay, I really love that house. It's the only one I've seen that I feel excited about. So make it happen. So let's keep an update on this, shall we? Because it was a massive learning curve, and it made me realise that I allowed my ego to be louder than my logic, my intuition. Inside it was, this isn't right, but it was a plaster. It was a plaster that I was putting over a gaping wound, to try and, you know, cover it, pretend it's not there. I've got a hell of amount of grieving to do. I've got a hell of amount of work to do. I've got a hell of amount of change and, you know, recreating new beginnings. And so I'm really grateful for that lesson. I'm still exceptionally sad. I do miss them. But I know that, you know, they even told me, they as in the voices, whoever they were, I sound like schizophrenic now, but the voices told me that they're going to be with their perfect family in their forever home, and I wasn't enough for them, but at least they had a holiday away from the kennels for a little while, but it was all being put in place where they were going to go. And I thought, wow, this is incredible. So the whole reason I feel he wants me to tell you this story is that when you are in moments of panic, grief, you're having to do something that you're resisting or you really don't want to, you need to sit with yourself and look, you know, write lists, pros and cons. I did do that. But again, the ego was, oh, it'd be really good. You'll have comfort. You'll have something to do, you know, motivate you to get out, blah, 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 blah. I should be motivated already to get out. I shouldn't need dogs to do that. You know, so I really didn't have a proper word with myself. I was desperately trying to recreate the past, and I was desperately trying to stop having to make change. And even though I have been working the spiritual element since I was born, and even though I know what's right and wrong when I'm sitting there looking at my life, I am still human. We still have the ego system. And I got to a stage of, I don't want to do this. I don't want to move. I don't want to change my life. I just want to sit, hunker down. That's really rot away. That's what I wanted to do with 2 babies. And it was a great excuse for me not to make that change. So when you have things that you fear, when you have the past that you need to let go of, you call in Archangel Michael, and I did, I always do, to cut those cords. You work on yourself and you analyse and look at what you should and shouldn't be doing. And since they've gone back and I've made a decision, I'm definitely moving, I'm looking at boxes already, I've started packing, then all this weird stuff happens. And the dreams, the prophecies, all of the readings, the cards that I pull, it's all new beginnings, letting go of the past, grieving the past, needing, you know, new outlet, needing new community, new way of being, new home. It just keeps coming up all the time. So, yeah, I tripped up a bit, but can you see why I did it? And I bet there's lots of you that's nodding now, because we really just want to create what we've lost. We want to try and not move on from it, but we have to if we need to. And, you know, if you've got supportive family and friends around you, then it's great. But I haven't. I've got, you know, friends around me, but I need to get out. I need to go to a space that's fresh and new. And this place, if I get this, oh my goodness, my dreams will come true. But if it doesn't happen, then I know it was meant to be. But I am manifesting it. Every single thing I ordered is in that house. So let's see what happens, shall we? So I'm really pleased that he asked me to share this, because there were comments from you beautiful people saying, oh, how's Honey and Teddy, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, I just don't even want to talk about it. I've just made such a mistake. But I haven't made a mistake. I've made a very strong, wise decision, and it broke my heart, but it made me realise that I have done so much in my life to make change and been so courageous and so brave and so strong on so many occasions that I know that I can deal with anything. And I could end up crying in the corner, giving up, and I tell my friends I'm on a really bad day, but I'm reaching out, I'm acknowledging my state of being. So Don't isolate, reach out. Don't allow yourselves to be in denial of what needs to change in your life. If you've gone through any sort of loss or grief, it could be loss of job, loss of relationship, whatever it is. There is a moment in time when we need to just rest and reflect and feel sorry for ourselves. But there's a time of constructing some form of routine and getting yourself back into your life. Thank you, Julianus. He's also shown me we're in year 9. This is massive Virgos at the moment. Virgo moon, the solar eclipse. And I'm sorry, I was going to do something for it, but I was just so upset with everything. But it's all good now. It's all brilliant. And there are big changes to do with Virgo and Pisces this year. And I'm going to embrace all of them and go for this new adventure. Number 9 is coming to the end of a journey. So 10 is next year, right? So what's going to happen is that if you are in an energy or you are on the path to bigger and better things, lots of things potentially will end for you this year. Okay? So he's just talking in my ear. I thought I was channeling him, but hey, we can do this. So what's happening is that things need to be wrapped up to start this beautiful journey you'll be taking yourself on. The problem with that is that our ego during the transition starts to go, oh, hell no, I'm not doing this. No, what in the Archangel Michael's going on here? Do you know what I mean? And then later on, when everything starts to come into fruition, you think, shut the front door. How has that happened? And this is what I feel is happening with this house. It just came on. I should have seen it. I'm on it every day. I've got a feeling that'll be the place I go to. And I think I couldn't possibly live in a place like that, could I? You can hear the beach. It's at the bottom of the garden. And then it's 2 houses down from the beach. I'm like, come on. Do you know what I mean? So when you are going through your tower moments, your transitional times, your times where you think, what the fluff is going on here? Do you know what I mean? And you just had enough. You have to ride that tide. And remember the channeling that Julianus brought through about being on the ship and just going with it, you know. Look at the horizon. There is a bigger picture to be had. No matter what the loss or the tower moment is, honour it. Because it's taking you to the most beautiful things you could imagine. You know, sometimes we're resistant and we stop and we block and we procrastinate. And that's just, and I've done it. I could put my hands up. I've procrastinated because of fear, because I don't want to change. I want to hold on to my old life here. But it's not serving my future. Can you see? So you need to look at things when you having to make decisions. Is it going to serve my future? Is it going to bring about change, excitement, abundance, happiness, contentment? Be honest with yourself. And you know, how many times, just for instance, say if it's the breakdown of a relationship, right? Say if it's a breakdown of a relationship. And you're absolutely devastated, heartbroken, you're on your knees, you can't believe they've left you, whatever they've done. Then later on, you meet someone who literally is the absolute man or woman of your dreams, and you think, what was I even thinking with that person? How many times have you said about an ex, what was I thinking? How many times did you, during that relationship, say, I'm really not happy, but I'm going to stick with it. It could improve. How many times did you know that you should have made the move and you didn't? Then they did it, and then suddenly we become the victims, don't we? And it wasn't working. And then you find this new relationship and think, what was I even thinking? This is perfection. It's so easy. This person is perfect for me. So you almost thank the gods, thank whoever you want, the angels, God, whatever you want, to say, God, I'm really glad that happened now. But when you're going through it, it's why me? Why has this happened to me? I hate them. I hate everything. Blah, blah, blah. And all of the negative aspects of our ego self just channels through the whole of our body every single day, mourning that loss. So you're still going to do it. We have to grieve. We have to honour the process and go through the transitional phase of loss and heartache and upset. But the one thing that I've learned is to carry on looking forward and start. And I already ordered where I wanted to live and what I wanted to do. But then it kind of just went, yeah, you're all right. I'm just going to have my dogs and just live my old life like an old dog woman. Oh, there's the dog woman there. She's the dog woman. Yes, she doesn't do anything. She just talks on the camera and she's a dog woman. Like the cat lady. Do you know what I mean? So, honour your changes, your downfalls, your losses, because there is a reason for everything. And I hear you ask, this is Julianus, I hear you ask, well, you know, how can I honour someone that's died? That's not good. I've you know, I lost my husband of 30 years and I'm lonely and people pass. It's what you do with that time. It's what you do with that time. Are you sure? This might bring a bit of a trigger. Okay. So there was a lady, a beautiful, lovely, wonderful lady, wife, mum, and she was walking through the town and she was dragged into a crack den, and many atrocities took place in that place for many hours. And how she survived it, I've got no idea. She came in to do a chat with us when I was in the place. And to begin with, she obviously, her body was so broken that they don't know how she survived, but she got through it. And obviously she went through the normal things, fear, loss of her sense of self. I think her marriage fell apart. She just literally, I think, had a year of absolute hell, which I don't blame her. God bless her heart. But you know what? When she walked into that room, she looked stunning, powerful, glowing, beautifully dressed, very strong. And she decided to start working and helping victims of rape. And she's now a massive cog in a wheel of support for rape victims and survivors. And people look up to her now with such strength, and she has fulfilled her life. And even though I'm not going to share what happened, but she told us, and I was horrified. And afterwards I said to her, I'm just so sorry. She goes, so many people say that, she said, but I'm not sorry, because now I see how many people I help and it's gone into its hundreds, and that's what my life purpose is for. Now, this is a very extreme version, but so many people have horrific things happen to them, bad things, unlucky things happen, only for them to find a path that they're actually on their true destiny for. And it's the same, you know, I remember when I did Angels on the television, and one of the men there, he never believed in angels. It was all a load of old crap. He's the sort of person that would be on the old crappy comment gang online. But he had a road accident and a lorry rolled over him twice. And how he didn't lose his legs, I don't know. And he was in agony, really serious internal injuries. And they literally, the paramedics said, well, I think we're going to lose him. They actually said it in front of him because he was half in and out of consciousness. And then suddenly this figure leant over, and it was an angel, but it wasn't all winged up or anything like that. It goes, just hang on, you're going to survive this. You're going to survive this. And he then just was smiling and looking at this figure that stayed with him the whole time he was at the roadside and at the hospital. And he said, all will be well, all will be well. Then he disappeared. And he spoke to people afterwards and said, who was that lovely man? Is he like, you know, who is he, liaison? I'd like to thank him. And they said, no, there's nobody here like that at all. There was nobody by you apart from the paramedics. And he ended up having this physiotherapist who helped him get his legs working and get his body working. And they fell in love. And he met his soulmate. And he's never been so happy in all his life. And now they help other people that have life debilitating injuries. How many times have people had a cataclysmic scenario take place in their lives and it's led them to amazement, led them to the most incredible paths that help humanity? So yes, shit does happen. It's going to go on another mug. So shit happens. It's already been taken. But can you see the bigger picture, the horizon that Julianus is talking about? He's nodding. He's now like this. Can you see that if you're standing at the break of the waves and they're smacking you and they're hitting you, you know, right at the break of the wave where it literally smacks into your skin, your body, and it's just pushing you and pulling you, and you like sometimes lose your footing, you're being sunk by the sand. And then you think, oh my God, I'm starting to panic a bit because these waves are really strong if I go down. And then possibly you do go down. And then you're trying to get breath and you're trying to get back up again and you're rolling around and there's currents taking you. That is what it's like to go through a transition, a tower moment, a trauma, a bereavement, a loss of job, loss of self, loss of finance, whatever it is that's hit you, loss of health. I can tick every single one of them. Me, myself and I, in bookshops now. And it's not pleasant. This time around, I've learnt not to isolate. This time around, I've learnt to reach out to people. However, in the back of my mind, it's Nikki, you need to get out of it. You need to go back to your community, your friends, your family. You need a fresh start. And it's like, hell no, I'm not doing that. It's too scary. I didn't subconsciously think that, but the ego was like, you ain't doing that, Nick. Let's stay safe and get some dogs. So yes, you will writhe around in those waves, breaking, rolling and throwing you all over the place. You're totally out of control. Totally. But then when you do get your foot in, when you stand up and you come away, you come into the shallows, you come to the shoreline, look at the horizon. What is my bigger picture? What have I learnt from this? What will I never do again? What do I need to do to change this situation? What help do I need? Do I need to go and see my doctor? Do I need to go and see a therapist? Do I need to go and do this, do that? And that's what I've been doing. I've been looking after myself so well, mind, body and soul, meditating. But I'm not sitting there thinking, right, I'm going to go and chat with Julianus. He pops in, they all pop in. Darren pops in, they all pop in. But I normally just turn something on I love and just go into that alpha brainwave state and just see what happens. I journal. I'm having hypnotherapy. I'm having more counselling. I'm being mindful of what I'm eating, what I'm drinking, staying hydrated. I'm mindful to make sure that I'm drinking water now, a few sips every few minutes. I'm mindful of what I'm eating, what's hurting my body and what isn't. That's me standing in the shallows, looking at the horizon, thinking, okay, there is a bigger picture. It's crap, but I'm looking at the bigger picture. Right, if you're going to create this, do it. I'm leaving my hands to you, I surrender. And I said in the car, remember now on the way back, I said, I surrender then. I surrender yet again. And the last time, I surrendered, I was laying down naked in a cemetery under the full moon. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's in me, myself and I. It wasn't as cold this time and I was in the car. And then this song came on. Forgot about this. This song came on and there was D444 in front of me. Angel number. And this song came on called Celine Dion, Because You Loved Me. And that made me cry even more because it was a message from Darren. And when I was sitting in the lounge 2 days ago, I think it was the day after I'd taken them back, the Alexa came on and that song came on. And then this morning, the very first song that came on was that again. And so it's a we've got you, it's going to be crap. The thing is, I think people believe that whoever they believe in, is going to make it all lovely and fluffy for them. You know, no, they're not going to create a perfect environment, because that's not what are you going to learn from that? That's not what life's about, and we all know that. There's ups and downs. It's like a Monopoly game. One minute you're in jail, the next you're paying a community chest order, the next you've just bought a hotel. It's up and down all the time. And so they hold you. They let you walk into your own traps of ego, your own ego traps. They let you walk in and thinking, she's gonna moan at us about this. She's gonna moan at us and say, why did we allow it? Because it's free will. And all the time before, they were whispering to me in my lower divine intuitive self, you need change. You've got to have courage and make this change. It's going to be okay. But I wouldn't have it. The lion roared. Oh, did it roar? And it said, no, I need comfort. I need something. I need a plaster. I can't do this. And so all I did was create more heartache for myself, staying with someone you're not supposed to be with because you're too scared to leave. You know, you've got no courage, hoping it'll be okay in a false environment. And then you put yourself through more pain. I've you know, on that playlist, What Happens When We Die, and they talk about all these landmarks that we're supposed to meet on our soul contract, and we either get there happier or we get there totally miserable, and they have to change something in our lives, like the road accident for me. They have to think, God, this is going so wrong. We're going to have to do something. We're going to, you know, let her go with her ego. Let her do something. Rather than try and show her signs, just let her go. Let her find her own destiny. It's going to be crap, but let her find it. So I did, and that's what happened. If I'd binned that thing I was with, and I'd had the strength and courage to be alone and love myself and work it all out then, that wouldn't have happened. I would have continued, but I would have been enlightened in a different way. Instead, laying for years in bed. Potentially, I could have laid for years in bed. Potentially, I could have still had the accident, but I would have been in a better space. I would have been in a stronger space. I would have been in a more positive environment. But I didn't. I chose to stay with an idiot. Don't we all, loves? Courage and strength during times of vulnerability and grief, it's the most hardest thing you'll ever be able to pull together. But if you do it when you're ready and you make the changes you know are going to be good for you, just you, because that's the other thing. Oh no, you don't want to be doing that. No, you don't want to do that. We start listening to other people and taking on their accounts of what they think we should be doing. They're not living your life. They're not living your feelings, your reactions. They don't know how much your heart is hurting. You have to put yourself first, and you have to say, right, what can I do to make this situation better? What can I do to move on from this current situation? What do I need to do to let go of all of this past energy that's still in my present? And then you do the biggest thing that you've ever done in your life, life-altering things with that courage and strength, belief and faith to know that they've got you. New beginnings, the Fool card in Tarot. He's quite happy. He's just about to walk straight off the cliff. His dog of loyalty. Divine is holding out the cloud. He's loving it. He's like, yeah, I'm okay. The sun's out showing that there's a bright future. Just walk over. I'm not saying jump off a cliff. I thought doing that many a time, I'm not going to lie, and there's loads of them here. But I always say it, it always comes to mind, Indiana Jones, you know, when is it The Lost Ark? I can't, no, is it the second one? Where he literally, it's the path of faith, and he literally, it looks like a big gully, you know, hundreds of miles drop, and he just puts his foot straight out and puts it down, and he's got faith, and it then creates a path, doesn't it, across the ravine, an invisible path. They hold you, they put up with our egos. It doesn't have to nod like that. They have to put up with our ego systems, and they have to make contingency plans for the decisions we make. And if they're right, they then go boom, because I've noticed that the haters have come in the house. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is brilliant. Because when you start getting people that aren't part of our tribe coming in and piping up here, it's not as much, but Instagram, I think it's gone up to about 900,000 views, the first video I did after all this. Because I said, right, okay, well, if I'm going to do this work, you better sort it out then and help me to reach humanity. Love and light. Sorry, I wasn't being disrespectful, but I'm being honest. It's not worth me sitting and going, oh, everything's lovely and fluffy. I need, you know, I've got to tell you how it is. And it's pretty tough. And so you got all the people, you're a charlatan, you know, you take money off of grieving people. I'm like, I don't even do readings anymore, whatever. And you're mental and all the rest of it. And I'm like, yes, I've done it. So Instagram, you know, it wasn't doing much. And I thought, oh, do you know what, I can't be bothered. And I'll just concentrate on my tribe. There is this need to reach people. I don't care how many followers I have. I don't care what the figures are. I just want to reach humans. And say, I've been through it. It was crap, but here I am. Do you want to know how? Fine. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. So when all of the keyboard idiots come in, I'm like, oh God, that's good. We're reaching more people here. I think it's 800 or 900,000. And you're like, thank you very much. And suddenly everything's gone. Whoo. And so what they do is that when you are finally on the right path, everything like jumps in your lap and everything starts to change and grow and become colourful. And they say, oh, she's on it. So you know you're on the right path because nothing is a chore. Nothing is hard. Nothing, it all just plumps into place like bricks. That's how you know when you're on your right path. They say, yeah, control. Yeah, she's made the decision. Yeah, she made a decision. Perfect. Thank God for that. Yeah, we're back on track. We're back on track. Yep, start letting it happen. And then you start getting signs and synchronicity, not about what decisions you're making, you just get them. There are feathers all over this house. I've left them where they are at the moment. I don't even know how they got there. I had a pair of glasses that went missing, my reading glasses, right, went missing for 2 days. And I thought, I've left them somewhere. They're definitely left, were they at the therapist's place, la la la. And then I sat down today and they're sitting in the middle of the chair. And I'm like, I could have actually done with those. And it was like, get off your screen. Stop spending too much screen time. And I went, oh, is that why you hid my glasses? Why didn't you just say? You know, and it's like I've elevated to a level of more connection to them. Even more than I could possibly do now. It's incredible. To the extent I even knew what a couple of the tunes that were going to come on the radio today. Just started to be in my head and then they came on. I thought, blimey, I'm getting back right up there. I always have been up there to a level of awareness and open to whatever they want to bring me. But this is going to a whole new level of acknowledgement and connection with all of them. They're like, we've finally got on a path. Houston, we ain't got a problem anymore. And I know now it's going to do nothing but do that instead of procrastination and sitting in my own crap. And this is what I love about people that create our pain, because they're not going anywhere. They're going to stay in their same residual shite that they've always been in. We grow, we learn, we adapt, we move forward, we accomplish, blossom, create our abundance, create our contentment, attract the right people to us, attract new opportunities. That is what part of our life as old souls are, and spirituality is all about. Love, loving yourself, others, knowing you deserve the best. For whoever's sitting here watching this now and you're in a situation that you are just putting up with, listen to what I'm trying to say to you and what Julianus has wanted me to share with you today. Totally unexpected. I had no clue. I love it. It's so organic, isn't it? How long do you want to stay sitting in your muddy pool of crapness? Because it's comfortable, it's familiar, it's too energetic, it's too much trouble to just stand up and start wading through that mud and get to the other side, isn't it? I get it. But if you don't make movement, nothing will move. You don't make change, nothing will change. And all you've got to focus on is where you want to be, what you want to achieve. The wand suit in the tarot. What you want to aspire to. Take action, move forwards. And by all means, if you're ill, you know, you're grieving, you're not capable of doing that, then it's your mindset that needs to be connected in and positive and optimistic. I will get there eventually. I will do this. I will look after myself. I will not have that person around me anymore. I will not put up with this anymore. I will not stay here. I will move on. Whatever it is, whatever situation you're in. And then we have the ego system convincing us we're trapped. Can't do this because, can't do that because they'll do this. Can't do that because I haven't got enough money. Haven't got that. Stop the haven't gots. Because you're telling the universe I haven't got it. Oh, right, okay. Stay there and get on with it then. I'm going to have more income. I'm going to be more independent. I'm going to be well. I can't wait for this. I'm seeing the horizon. I'm stepping back from the turbulent waters. I'm seeing the horizon. It's bloody hard. But once you've cracked it in every single hiccup that takes place in your life, and I thought I'd smashed it. And then yet again, I did it with the dogs. But this was a huge thing because it really did mark a poignant part of what my subconscious wanted me to do for safety and familiarity. I was going to go back to having my 2 little dogs, doing my little chats on here and just leaving the world out of it. And that's not what's happening. Everything's going boom. And I didn't want it to. I didn't want the change. I didn't want to acknowledge that I've got to move on. I didn't want to do it. And what a harsh lesson. But deep in my heart, when you look back, hindsight's a wonderful thing, innit? I could feel that little voice saying, this is wrong. You haven't got the energy for this. Your life isn't going to suit this. You are going places all over the place. What's that? And Julianus, is that you? Did you hear those 3 boom? Big, like, I could feel them. Another one. This house is live now, I love it. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? They are letting me know that they are around me, with me, got my back, no matter what happens. Thank you. They're letting me know that they're around, like this business. Don't know what that is. It's like a slow heartbeat. And no doubt it will stop at some point. But they show me they're with me and that I've made the right decision, and now they can get back on track, full speed ahead. So let's watch this space and see what happens. But yeah, this was totally unplanned. I had no idea this was going to take place. But I really hope it's helped you. It's very different from anything else. But I'm really pleased to have shared it with you, because I really hope it reaches you and makes sense. Because so many of you are going through such hardship and such hard things. And I feel that this may help. And I'm really grateful to Julianus for pushing me to share it. So we didn't do channeling, but I think this is just as valuable. Let me know in the comments below. And I really look forward to speaking to you again soon. God bless you all, whatever pain or suffering or difficulties you're in. I send you so much love and strength. You've got this and they've got you. You just got to keep going. With all my love in the world, I'll speak to you again very soon. Take care now.